the words to these songs. I've never seen them. I have heard them, and this is my version of them. And I have nothing against the people that has a different version of them. And we'll start now. We were camped upon the plains at the head of the Cimarron, when along come a stranger, stopped to argue some. He looked so very foolish, we began to look around. We thought he was a greenhorn, just escaped to town. We asked him if he had his breakfast, well, he hadn't had a smear. So we opened up the chuck box and bade him have his share. He took a cup of coffee, some biscuits, and some beans. Then began to talk and tell of foreign kings and queens, about the Spanish War and fighting on the sea, guns as big as steers and rammer big as trees, about Paul Jones, a fighting son of a gun, who was the bravest cuss that ever pulled a gun. Such an educated fellow that he thought just come in herds, and he astonished all the cowboys with them jaw-breaking words. He just kept on a talking till he made the boys all sick, and they began to look around just how to play a trick. He said he'd lost his job upon the Santa Fe, and he's going across the plains to strike the 70s. He didn't say how come it. Some trouble with the balls. Said he'd like to borrow nice fat saddle halls. Well, this tickled all the boys to death, they laughed down in their sleeves. We'll lend you a horse just as fresh and fat as you please. Shorty grabbed a lariat and rode to the return, turned him over to the stranger and waited for the fun. Old Honey was an outlaw, he had grown so very wild. He could paw the white owl, the moon was ever jump for a mile. Old Honey stood right still as if he didn't know that he'd been saddled and ready for a show. When the stranger hit the saddle, old Honey quit the earth and traveled right straight up for all that he was worth, a pitching and a squealing and a having wide fits. His hind feet perpendicular, his front ones in the bits. You could see the top of the mountain, done he ever jumped. But the stranger sat there just like a camel's hump. The stranger sat upon him and curled his mustache, just like a summer boarder awaiting for his hash. He thumbed him in his shoulders and he spurred him when he whirled, and he showed that flunky bunch that he was a wolf of the world. When the stranger had dismounted, was on the ground. We knew he was a thoroughbred and not a gent from town. The boss who was standing around the watching of the show walked right up to the stranger and said, "You needn't go. If you can use the lasso like your road old zebra done, you're the man that I've been looking for since the years of one." When the herd stampeded, he was always on the spot. Says there's nothing like the boiling of a pot. One thing, the sure thing I've learned since I've been born. Every educated fellow's not a dumb greenhorn.